Demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well. Okay, I'll do this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
I don't want to say the election is over. That was former President Donald Trump in a series of never-before-seen videos released by the House January 6th Committee. And while watching Trump get frustrated with his basic inability to read is pretty funny, the January 6th Committee's latest hearing was anything but. The committee promised a blockbuster hearing, and they delivered. It's easy to think that we know everything that happened on January 6th, but as the committee just showed, even those in the political media haven't been getting the full story. Nowhere was that clearer than when the committee discussed the actions of the Secret Service, who were tasked with protecting Vice President Mike Pence, who was trapped in the Capitol because of Donald Trump. With Pence barricaded in a secure room and insurrectionists moving quickly down the halls, audio recordings released by the committee reveal a rapidly destabilizing situation. New video shows smoke rising up from a stairwell just feet from Pence's office as police attempt to hold back violent rioters. With no clear path to evacuate Pence, the Secret Service began to panic.
The members of the VP detail at this time were starting to fear for their own lives. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of very personal calls over the radio. So it was disturbing. I don't like talking about it, but there were calls to say goodbye to family members, so on and so forth. It was getting, for whatever the reason was on the ground, the VP detail thought that this was about to get very ugly.
One White House security official told the committee, "I don't like talking about it. There were calls to say goodbye to family members." He went on to say that the vice president's security team thought the situation might get, quote, ugly, and that the White House was at one point unable to say with certainty if the vice president had been compromised, meaning injured or killed by the rioters not far from his door. As Secret Service agents prepared for a potentially fatal encounter with protesters, Donald Trump was doing something too. He was sending a tweet blaming Mike Pence for his lack of courage. That tweet sent the rioters into a fury, and the Secret Service made the decision to evacuate Pence immediately, not in a planned path, but as a frenzied run to his motorcade. In the White House, senior advisors like White House counsel Pat Cipollone were finally saying out loud that the president had gone too far. It's a deeply shocking thing to see and hear trained Secret Service agents increasingly giving in to panic. But the truly shocking moment unfolded once Pence was safe. In phone calls with Defense Secretary Mike Pompeo and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley, Pence effectively seized power of the United States military from Trump, who had been hiding in his private dining room for more than an hour at that point. Milley told the committee under oath that GOP leaders had reached out to him, urging him to, quote, keep up a narrative that Donald Trump was in charge, though it was clearly Pence who was directing the military from the Capitol. And by going over Trump's head and against his wishes, Mike Pence actually did lead a successful, if brief, coup against the president. This shows us two really important things. First, there was almost no dissent to the idea of Mike Pence effectively usurping the constitutional order. And second, the military was far more willing to work around an uncooperative president than we previously believed. That worked for the best on January 6th, but it raises serious questions about when our military feels obligated to follow orders and when it doesn't. Let's be clear. Both Mike Pompeo and Mark Milley felt President Trump was out of his mind, and that was a powerful factor in their decision to ignore him. But it doesn't change the fact that it wasn't their decision to make. They worked behind the scenes to avoid the embarrassment of invoking the 25th Amendment. But that's how our process is supposed to work. And we don't strengthen our country by empowering the military to take workaround solutions to the democratic process. The 25th Amendment was the solution for January 6th. Mark Milley and the cabinet basically admit that now. Unfortunately, in the moment, they lacked the moral courage to do what was necessary. As a result, the vice president was nearly killed, and faith in our system was deeply, deeply wounded. The January 6th committee has announced a new set of hearings for September, meaning the GOP's nightmare isn't going away anytime soon. But eventually, Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice must act. Democrats cannot fall into the same moral pit that led to the GOP's deadly inaction on January 6th. That would be equally unforgivable. If you made it until the end, thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and leave a comment to let me know what you liked about the piece and what you think I should be covering next.